Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Time spent with cats is never wasted. In the small matters trust the mind, in the large ones the heart. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. Love and work, work and love, that's all there is. The ego is not master in its own house. Civilization began the first time an angry person cast a word instead of a rock. Public self is a conditioned construct of the inner psychological self. The goal of all life is death. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. Analogies, it is true, decide nothing, but they can make one feel more at home. The first requisite of civilization is that of justice. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. One is very crazy when in love. If you can't do it, give up. Anatomy is destiny. Neurosis is the inability to tolerate ambiguity. Everywhere I go I find that a poet has been there before me. The ego is not master in its own house. If youth knew, if age could. Love and work. Work and love, that's all there is. The act of birth is the first experience of anxiety, and thus the source and prototype of the affect of anxiety. A man who has been the indisputable favorite of his mother keeps for life the feeling of a conqueror. Men are strong so long as they represent a strong idea. They become powerless when they oppose it. The psychoanalysis of neurotics has taught us to recognize the intimate connection between wetting the bed and the character trait of ambition. Children are completely egoistic. They feel their needs intensely and strive ruthlessly to satisfy them. Neurotics complain of their illness, but they make the most of it, and when it comes to talking it away from them, they will defend it like a lioness her young. Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. The tendency to aggression is an innate, independent, instinctual disposition in men. It constitutes the powerful obstacle to culture. What progress we are making. In the Middle Ages they would have burned me. Now they are content with burning my books. A certain degree of neurosis is of inestimable value as a drive, especially to a psychologist. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. What we call happiness in the strictest sense comes from the, preferably sudden, satisfaction of needs which have been dammed up to a high degree. Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. The psychical, whatever its nature may be, is itself unconscious. Opposition is not necessarily enmity. It is merely misused and made an occasion for enmity. Like the physical, the psychical is not necessarily in reality what it appears to us to be. A A belligerent state permits itself every such misdeed, every such act of violence, as would disgrace the individual.